because it's waiting for us, but I'm refreshing and not seeing it. So if you're not seeing us, just hold on. I guess that doesn't make sense to say that, but because you can't see it or hear me. But I am Reverend Kelly Isola, and it
Oh
is
my God.
my pleasure and my privilege. And there, now we're live. Now we can see us. So Ayub, do you want to say welcome again, since now
Sure.
it's live?
Yes, greetings from the heartland of the United States, Kansas City, the city of fountains, the city of oceans, of love and generosity, the city of compassion, and the city of mercy. What else you want? We have guests from all around the world, host families from Canada and Tanzania, a speaker from Los Angeles, our musician from Kansas City, and the host group Living Water Christian Church, and Laura Guy from Kansas City. And what else? We have videos of imams from Turkey, Egypt, and United States, and kids videos of Turkey, Sri Lanka, and Kenya. What else? What else, Kelly?
I don't know. I'm sure there's more in there, but I'm always excited. I'm always happy to be here.
Right.
I'm Reverend Kelly Isola, and I have been working with AYUP and the Dialogue Institute of Kansas City for several years now. And it's just, as always, a joy, an honor, and a privilege to come together online for Ramadan, for the Iftar, for this celebration. And while I'm not Muslim, it's one of my favorite times of the year because of what Ramadan is all about. And so we're going to hear more about that, as you heard Ayub say very excitedly, where everybody is coming from tonight. Also, on YouTube, you're watching on YouTube, in the chat, we welcome your comments, and when we have our guest keynote speaker, if you have questions for her, to please put those in there. But I want to take a couple minutes and tell you just a few things about the Dialogue Institute of Kansas City, because they are the reason that we're here tonight. But it's the Dialogue Institute of Kansas City, and we want to thank the Kansas City Raindrop Foundation, as well as the Dialogue Institute of Oklahoma. They're all co-sponsors. So thank you for being here. And what's one of the things that we're inviting you into this year is Giving Ramadan, and it has a virtual food drive. And so there are several events going on that you can take part in, that we are absolutely encouraging you to be a part of. And one of them is the virtual food drive. There is a for virtual food drive through Harvesters, and there's a link in the chat. And if you're not familiar with Harvesters, is their sole purpose is making sure that no one goes hungry. And it's a virtual food drive because we want to just keep people safe and secure. And while we know life is changing and we're kind of coming back, into being outside our homes and maybe being with others a little bit more, we know that traditional food drives, people tend to congregate, and we still want to just keep ourselves safe for a little bit. So if you go to the link that's in the chat stream in YouTube, you can go online and do a virtual food drive and pick out how much food you'd like to purchase. $1 is a meal. Think of it that way. So $10 will feed at least 10 people, if not more. The other event going on during Giving Ramadan is a toy drive for kids that are in foster care through the organization called Cornerstones. And that link is also in the chat stream. And we want to encourage you to go there and buy kids toys for kids, because it's, what better way? We can do that any time of the year. There's Cooking for Relentless Pursuit, which is the Dialogue Institute is going to take part in cooking and serving food and meals to women's shelter. And those are on April 24th and 25th, May 1st and May 2nd. And then Micah Ministry is also supporting feeding marginalized communities on April 19th and April 26th. So the Dialogue Institute of Kansas City is founded on the principles and the of the Hizmet movement, of really on the teachings of Fethullah Gulen, who is in some places a controversial individual and personality, and yet what we're focus on is we focus on Hizmet, which is another word for service. And Ramadan absolutely focuses us on service of, what is it that the other person needs, that to create a sense of community and belonging. And so through the teachings of Fethullah Gulen around peacemaking and justice and interfaith dialogue and just mercy and love, all those oceans that we talked about at the beginning that Ayup and I were referencing. One of the programs of the Dialogue Institute is their annual Dialogue and Friendship Dinner, which is their largest fundraising event. And while we weren't able to do it last year, we did, we've been able to do some things online for fundraising, but this is a signature event that we're really looking forward to eventually coming back together, bringing different cultures and people together and acknowledging and honoring those that have been giving back to their community in many different ways. So bringing hundreds of people together, as you can see, to be in conversation. Dialogue Institute also offers classes on cooking and arts and like water marbling. You don't have to know how to do anything. They teach it all to you. And if you say you're not creative, I'll argue with you because everybody's creative. Here's the cooking classes. If you want to know how to cook baklava, who doesn't want to know how to do that? And Turkish coffee and all kinds of goodies. Saturday brunches and interfaith dialogue, visiting host families, just building community. That is in being in service, building bridges. Thanksgiving dinners, every year, just coming together with people that you might not know. The very first time that I met Ayup and got involved, it was because he sent me a text and said, here on Thursday night, show up at 7:00 at this address. And my immediate response was, okay, who is this? Where am I going? Why am I going here? Like it took me a second to catch up, but it's about building bridges and hanging out with people that you don't know, people you might not, always think about. It's getting out of our little bubble to build a world that works for all. And of course, our Ramadan fast breaking dinners. In the past, last year, they were virtual. Before that, they were in person with police organizations, with retail organizations, lots of churches and mosques and synagogues and community centers and anybody and everybody that would be with us to just, again, build bridges. So on that note, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce our host organization tonight is Living Water Christian Church. And Laura Guy is, she's the senior pastor there. So I'm going to ask her to her camera is up. So everyone else, if they would like to turn their cameras off, if they haven't already. And so Laura Guy is, as I said, is the pastor of Living Water Christian Church, and they have been involved with the Dialogue Institute of Kansas City. And I remember last year when you guys came for and were hosting an Iftar. She's funny and she's animated and she likes to use her hands when she talks. These are things she wrote about herself. So I really like that because if you notice, I have to keep my hands down. I'm Italian. She says you can call her Laura or Pastor Laura or even PL if you like. She's been married to Cliff Guy for 32 years. And it might even be longer now. I'm not sure.
It has been.
Yeah. So that's been written probably a little while ago. She has 2 children. She loves to travel. She's been all over the world, South Korea, China, Tanzania, Germany, Haiti, and lots of other places. And in her spare time, because being the senior pastor of a church with the family doesn't keep you busy enough, she volunteers at 10,000 Villages. 10,000 Villages, if you go on and look for that, there is a fair trade store. And there's one here in Overland Park in the greater Kansas City area. She says she loves being a pastor and she wouldn't trade jobs with anybody. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you. Yeah, I do need to update that because we have a new family member. I have a little grandbaby now, so gotta get her in there too. But I am so excited to be a part of this. I first got to know Ayup and Dialogue Institute at 10,000 Villages. I volunteer there, and the first Ramadan fast breaking dinner I did was, I've lost track of time, but 6 years ago, maybe. And it was such a wonderful experience. I had never really had an opportunity to learn about Ramadan and to experience people from the Turkish culture. That's not a place I've ever visited. So it was such a wonderful experience. And when I heard that they were doing these kinds of dinners at churches, I thought, oh, we got to get them out to Living Water. We are located on Highway 45 in Parkville. And it was so exciting to have them come the first year and share the Ramadan fast breaking dinner with us. We had such a wonderful time that we thought of other ways that we could get together and share. And so we just have had some fellowship dinners together, and bingo nights have been our favorite things to do together because everybody can play bingo, no skill required.
Right. It's not just for the Catholics anymore, right?
Right,
Remember those old
right.
days?
And we just
Yeah.
had a little prize table and people could go. And so, all ages can play, and it was just such a fun experience. And so one of the first things we did when we had a bingo night is at the end of the night, we taught them the hokey pokey as a cross-cultural experience, because that's another thing that everybody can do, the hokey pokey. So,
Yeah. And turn yourself about.
we have enjoyed those so much, and we've been missing them this last year or so, and are anxious to get back to seeing one another in person. But it's good to be able to do this online this year, and I'm excited about meeting the families from other countries this year. That's something new and different. So thank you for having us host this year, and I hope everybody
Very
has
welcome. Yeah, we Ayup and others behind the scenes. I have very little to do with it. I just show up. I have the easy part. But yeah, the families, the countries that people are throughout the month is Australia and Belgium, the United Kingdom, Kenya, Syria, Tanzania, Turkmenistan, Pakistan, Russia, Morocco, Libya. I don't even remember them all. Oh,
United Kingdom, Belgium,
Yep.
France.
Yeah. Yep.
Tick,
So
almost every continent, but we couldn't find anyone from Antarctica. I'm sorry about that.
yeah, it's probably too chilly. But yeah, it's just amazing. And the kid videos, those are also, while they're not live, they're from, anywhere and everywhere. And we have some doctor videos. We won't have one tonight, but created some videos of doctors talking about the health benefits of fasting. Right.
Laura didn't mention, but they also taught us how to play hokey pokey dance.
Oh, I did mention that.
She did say that.
Oh, sorry, I missed that, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we joked about the hokey pokey, turn yourself around. Yeah.
Yes. That was so much fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Please thank your community for us. And we have a local musician, local meaning the Kansas City area. His name is Brian Boring, and he's going to sing for us tonight. One of my favorite songs. When I asked him before we went live, Brian, I'm going to ask you to bring up your camera and unmute yourself. When I asked him before we went live what song he was going to sing, and he told me Worn Out Shoes, and I was so excited because I'm like, yes, it's one of my favorites. So without any further conversation, I turn it over to you, Brian.
Oh, thank you.
I do something. Brian, this is for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
We can
That's beautiful.
Send to you.
Oh, thank you. So I just want to thank you all for having me on. I just love these events. They're so inspiring and fun, and just what I think it's just what the world needs. And so I want to play Worn Out Shoes because it's just one of my go-to interfaith, a song about the human condition and, people just living together. And so this is Worn Out Shoes. Souls wear down just the same, no matter the road we take. Every journey takes takes a different route, but every path is made of the same ground. How can I be angry with you when you sat down your worn out shoes next to mine? We all bow down to a knee every now and then to tie a lace. Each shoe hides worn out feet, yearning for some rest or a slower pace. How can I be angry with you when you sat down your worn out shoes next to mine? Well, we can't always keep from stumbling as we walk the rugged dirt. Oh, but I'll lend a hand if you start to fall. Together our feet will kiss the earth. How can I be angry with you when you sat down your worn out shoes next to mine?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I could
Thank
keep
you.
listening, like, wait, play it again.
Encore.
Yes, yes. Well, it's a wonderful metaphor, worn out shoes, like we're, walking in someone else's path and sharing a journey. And how can I be angry with you? Because you're wearing out shoes like I'm wearing them out. And
Yeah.
so
Thank you.
thank you. Good evening, Seema, our keynote speaker tonight. Seema Sarita-Prak is joining us from Los Angeles, California, where she's completing her final year of her doctoral program in clinical psychology. She's married and has 2 children and finishing a doctoral program. So I'm already impressed. She loves outdoor activities and spending time with her family, and she volunteers for the Turkish community and local charities in her free time, as if 2 children, doctoral program, free time. Yeah. So thank you, Seema, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Kelly, for that introduction. Hello, everyone.
I have something special. Just a second, please. This is for you as well.
Are you doing these in the background while everyone is talking?
No. Now it's your turn.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Tonight, I'm going to be presenting on, the basics of Ramadan for possibly those who may not know much about Ramadan, in addition to some benefits of Ramadan for ourselves, for others, and with God. And so I will share my presentation with you all so you can also see it. Let me just one moment. Okay, I think everyone can see this. Let me know if there's any issues. Like I said, tonight I'll be talking about the basics of Ramadan. And I do want to preface this with that I am not necessarily a scholar of Islam, but I am an enthusiastic volunteer, I should say, and I really enjoy presenting on my faith and my personal experiences and what I know from growing up in my own Islamic educational background. So I hope everybody gets to learn something new today about Ramadan. That is my goal for this presentation. So just to begin with, Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar. And so Ramadan actually goes back 10 days each year. So for example, this year, Ramadan started April 13th, but last year, Ramadan started April 23rd. So Ramadan eventually goes through the whole calendar year. And it lasts 29 to 30 days, depending on the moon cycle. And during Ramadan, Muslims fast from dawn to dusk. And so Muslims will wake up for a pre-dawn meal. So before dawn hits, they'll wake up for a pre-dawn meal called sahur. And they will then fast from sahur until sunset. And then they will break their fast with a meal at sunset. And the name for that is Iftar. And so you will hear many Muslims refer to sahur and Iftar during Ramadan. And so as you can see, depending on where someone lives, an individual could be fasting anywhere between 9 to 20 hours a day, if you're more in the north. And additionally, if you think about it, fasting during the summer means longer days versus fasting during the winter means shorter days of fasting. And so depending on what time of the year it is, the amount of time you're spent fasting also changes as well. Okay, so generally, a healthy Muslim adult is required to fast, but there are rules regarding who does not need to fast. So for example, children under the age of puberty do not need to fast, and individuals who are physically unable to fast, they also are not required to fast during Ramadan. So for example, if somebody has a medical condition, like if they have diabetes and they need to take their insulin or they need to eat a certain diet, they are not required to fast. So anybody who has a medical condition that prevents them from fasting does not need to fast. Also, pregnant women or women who are breastfeeding, they also do not need to fast during Ramadan. And people who are traveling, actually. So there's a lot of flexibility in Ramadan. If you are traveling, if you're not able to, if you are breastfeeding, etc., you don't need to fast. And Ramadan is actually one of the 5 pillars of Islam. So in Islam, these are the 5 pillars of faith, I should say. And so one of them is, for example, pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca. So Muslims are required, or if they have the financial means, they're encouraged to do a pilgrimage to Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia. Another pillar of Islam is shahada, which means pledging the faith, basically verbalizing that you believe that there is only one God. And then the ritual prayers. So some may know Muslims are required to pray 5 times a day. And so this is what that is referring to the 5 times a day daily prayers. And then charity to the poor. That is actually also a required pillar of faith in Islam. So that's referred to as zakat. But those are the other 4. And so the 5th one is actually fasting during Ramadan. So these are kind of like the 5 crucial components of Islam. And so as you can see, Ramadan plays a major role itself in Islam. So I will move on. Just checking the time. Okay. So the main requirements of fasting, so these are just general main requirements. So Muslims need to abstain from, or anyone who's fasting in Ramadan, they need to abstain from eating any kind of food, drinking any kind of beverage, including water, and engaging any kind of intercourse or intimacy during Ramadan. So these are kind of the main requirements of what you need to abstain from. And there is a saying of a Prophet Muhammad, it's referred to as a hadith, which basically means a statement of what Prophet Muhammad said. And his statement says, fasting is not only to restrain from food and drink, but fasting is to refrain from obscene acts. So it's not just abstaining yourself from, eating and drinking, but it's really more so, I think, about refraining yourself from engaging in any kind of sinful acts. For example, gossiping or lying, cheating, laziness, etc. Anything that might be considered sinful. And so it's really a month, I would say, to holistically work on yourself. In fact, if we don't really address this more behavioral component and spiritual component, we are really just starving ourselves and really not making the most of Ramadan. So Ramadan, I would say, is much more than just abstaining from food and drinks, etc. There's a major spiritual component to Ramadan itself. And so what is the significance of Ramadan, right? So most importantly, the Quran, which is the holy book of Islam. So for example, in Christianity, there is the Bible. In Islam, there is the Quran. So the Quran was revealed and completed in the month of Ramadan. So that is the main significance, that it was actually revealed in Ramadan, so the first verse, and then it was actually also completed in Ramadan. And so it is very traditional for Muslims to read the entire Quran in the month of Ramadan. There's a major focus on the Quran itself. The Quran is 30 chapters, and so what many individuals will do is they will read one chapter a day, and they will be able to finish the whole 30 chapters within the 30 days of Ramadan, and thereby completing the Quran. And so because Ramadan is thought to be this month of Quran, and many individuals may even read more than this. They might read multiple chapters a day. They may really dedicate themselves to learning, really just immersing themselves and trying to understand more and rereading it to gain deeper knowledge of the Quran and, implementing it into their lives. Okay, so I've kind of talked about the basics of Ramadan, I would say. And so I'm now kind of want to switch over to talking a little bit more about, some possible benefits of Ramadan. And I'll be kind of going over those. All right, so what are some of the benefits of Ramadan? So first I'm going to focus on one's relationship with God. So fasting can really improve, or I would say strengthen, one's relationship with God. And by the way, the word God in Arabic is Allah, but they're interchangeable. So they represent the same thing. I'm just referring to God right now, but I could be using the word Allah as well. And so fasting really, through fasting, we really display our obedience to God, right? And that can really deepen our faith. Also, we really recognize the true owner, I would say, of all the bounties that we are surrounded with. We recognize that we as humans are not the ones that are in control of the food in front of us, or our wealth, or what we have, right? Or what we can and cannot do, for example. So, and I say this, and with the example that, if Iftar, right, the fast breaking dinner, if that is at 8:05, for example, we don't start eating at 8:04, right? Because God has told us to break our fast at sunset, and sunset that day is 8:05. And so we really recognize that, God is the owner of all, and we are following his commands. And so we're just kind of recognizing, what we have control and what we don't have control over. And then Ramadan is also a month in which we really, receive a lot more good deeds, maybe we should say, given the holiness of the month, because Muslims increase their worship more this month, right? So they will read the Quran more, they will pray more, They might contemplate more, right? This is kind of a month of contemplation as well. And all of those behaviors, all of those methods of worship, I should say, and there could be a variety of methods of worship, they really do bring us closer to God, or they can bring us closer to God. And then when we're in a state of hunger, we can really realize what a privilege it is actually to be able to eat and drink as you wish and desire, right? And that can really foster a sense of gratitude towards God. I'm so grateful that I do have that ability to eat and drink as I wish and desire when it's not Ramadan, right? But there are others around me or in our society that do not have that privilege. And so it can really foster this sense of gratitude, especially when you're feeling that hunger pain. Okay, so then I kind of want to talk about how Ramadan can also help build our relationship with others, right? And so Ramadan is actually oftentimes viewed as like a societal, like a benefit to society as well, not just the individual. And so when we experience this pain of hunger that I was just referring to, we are somewhat in the shoes of others, right? Others who are experiencing that on a daily basis, or who have struggled with that in the past. And so it allows us to better understand our community members or our other people that we may know or that we are in contact with. And so that there's that sense of understanding the other, which I think is very important. And then it also kind of fosters compassion and empathy to those who are less fortunate, right? If you've never experienced hunger, then it might be very difficult to even feel compassion or empathy in a really in a deep manner, right? Superficially, I think oftentimes people can feel them, but I think if you've had that experience yourself, you really can foster empathy towards those who are less fortunate. And Ramadan is also a month when Muslims often give their annual charity. So if you mentioned if you remember, I mentioned one of the pillars of Islam, one of the pillars of faith in Islam is giving charity, zakat. And so Muslims are required to give 2.5% of their charity to others. And so oftentimes Muslims will give that charity in Ramadan because Ramadan is such a holy month. And so it will promote us to give charity to others. And it really fosters a lot of cooperation, I would say, among people of just different backgrounds. And I think this includes, at least here in America, in my experience, it really includes Muslims and non-Muslims. I see a lot of people kind of coming together for more common goals, kind of similar to this event today. And then also during Ramadan, it's very traditional that Muslims invite their friends and family members to their house for Iftar, or even sometimes sahur. You know, people will invite each other at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. Let's have sahur together since we're both going to be fasting. Or let's come over to my house and let's have Iftar. Let's break our fast together. So it's very important to break fast together with others. And so you can imagine how difficult this experience was last year in Ramadan when everyone was kind of secluded to their own family members. Because culturally and traditionally, it plays a big role. And it really helps us connect with others in our communities and just strengthen those ties. Because there are, I remember one year when I think every night I was with somebody else. I don't remember ever that year being just me and my family members. It was always another or a couple of other family friends, or in the community with churches and synagogues and other community members. And that is really the spirit of Ramadan, I would say, and really, really strengthen those ties with others, really helps strengthen those ties with others. Okay, and then finally, this is kind of my last point for tonight. Ramadan helps build our relationship with ourselves, right? So it's really a month where we are encouraged to look inward and see how we can become a better Muslim. So if if you think about it, we're fasting for long hours, right? And so physically, for example, there is this cleansing of the body that happens, that takes place that otherwise might not, right? If there was no Ramadan, would I fast this many hours? Probably not, right? But because of Ramadan, my physical health is actually improving as well, right? I'm cleansing the body of all the toxins and all the food that I've been eating, that I'm kind of feeding my body, that I could be feeding better, etc. And so there's this like physical cleansing that occurs, literally. And also, I would say spiritually, right? Spiritually, as in Ramadan, Muslims are encouraged to kind of stay away from any, stay away even more, I would say, than from sinful behavior, and really work on connecting with God and engaging in charity and cooperation and connecting with other community members, and really deepening your faith. And so there's this like cleansing of the soul, in my opinion, that also occurs. It's almost like a physical and spiritual reset, that kind of allows you to move on with that year until next Ramadan. And when Ramadan comes, even though it's very difficult to fast for long hours, we all really look forward to it, right? And I think because of this, because of what we experience physically and spiritually, that even though it is kind of difficult, we all look forward to it, and we're all very excited for that month of Ramadan. And then finally, I would say, when we're practicing, it does really develop, or I would say improve our level of patience, right? And our self-discipline. We're patiently waiting until it's iftar time, even though I am very thirsty right now, right? But I am not drinking water, right? So there's that self-discipline. I could go into the kitchen and pour myself a glass of water, right? Nobody would say anything, but my dedication, my obedience to God and to Islam allows me to self-discipline myself, right? And so I think these are positive qualities for anybody to foster, really. But I think specifically in Ramadan, it really teaches Muslims this sense of patience and self-discipline. And I'm actually going to end there. That was my last slide. So thank you all for listening, and I will stop sharing my screen.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I always, doesn't matter how many times I do this, I always learn something new.
Oh, good. I'm glad you learned
Yeah,
something.
always. And because it comes from somebody's, their own perspective, their own experience, what they've learned. And every year I learn more and more some of the cultural differences.
Yes.
I think people have a tendency to think about Islam as this, like a lot of religions, this monolithic thing.
Yes.
And it's just, yeah. So we didn't have a lot of questions in the chat, and we just have a few minutes before the call to the Adhan. But one came from Cliff, who is Pastor Laura Guy's husband.
Oh,
and he asked a question about Hajj, and that he wanted to know, what if people are unable to afford the trip? So like here in the US, that's like a year's salary kind of thing.
Yeah. So
that might be extreme, but
it can be very expensive, and that's a really great question. And yes, if financially you're not able to, then you are not required to. So that's why there's always that caveat when I mention it. If you're financially able to, then it is required. But if you're not financially able to, then you are not. And you're right, from America, it's even more expensive because it's kind of on the other side of the continent. So yes, that would be kind of the answer to that question.
Okay. Do people, I would imagine some people, like I might be the kind of person that, has an intention of doing that and will save up for many years in order to do. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. People will save up. There are a lot of tourism industries around this as well. So people will tend to go with groups, or maybe they'll go with their family. But yeah, people will save up, or people will go multiple times if this is kind of a priority for them. And some people really value it when they go, they really feel the spiritual connection or really deepening in their spiritual life. And so that kind of reinforces itself, and they do want to keep going. I have personally not been there, so I don't have that experience myself, but those who have gone tend to want to go again usually.
Well, that makes sense to me. You know,
Yeah.
when I have visited some sacred sites around the globe, I always want to go back, and I'm always torn because I want to go back, but there's other places I want to go.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Seema. We have about a minute till the Adhan, so I want to make sure we don't miss that. So thank you very, very much. It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure and a privilege, and Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you so much for inviting me again.
You're very welcome. So now is the time for, in just a minute, the call to prayer. 7:57 in Central Time, where we are here in the Kansas City area, and the call to prayer is indicates the end of the fast and the beginning, the breaking of the fast with the Iftar, the evening meal. So if you're in Central Time Zone, now is the time after we hear the call to prayer. And as you heard Ayub say at the beginning, it's several imams from around the world praying.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
And so now I would share a prayer for peace for all of us. And this comes from the Native American tradition. O great spirit of our ancestors, I raise my pipe to you, to your messengers, the four winds, and to Mother Earth, who provides for your children. Give us the wisdom to teach our children to love, to respect, and to be kind to each other so that they may grow with peace in mind. Let us learn to share all good things that you provide for us on this earth. And so it is. And so it is. So Ayub,
I am here.
you're here.
I just broke my fast. I drank my water.
Okay, that was the time, the prayer and breaking of the fast here in the Kansas City area. And now I think we're going to see some kids.
Yeah, let's play this video. So kids from Turkey living in Dallas, actually, they were one of the ones who loved this hokey pokey dance at Laura's church. And we have the video of their daughter, Seher, and also kids from Sri Lanka and Kenya. So here we go. Excited.
I love Ramadan so much because it reminds me about a lot of things. One of the things that it reminds me about is fasting. Fasting helps me be more patient about waiting for my food to be ready, and I always be more thankful for what I have and the opportunities that I have to eat food. Another reason that I love Ramadan so much is that we get to connect more with families and friends and somehow with other human beings. And we get to help other people that do not have opportunities to eat food and have food and drink water.
Hi, my name is Safiya. I'm so excited for Ramadan because Ramadan is for caring each other and helping each other. Bye. Hello everyone, my name is Salih. I'm a Turkish Sri Lankan living in Indonesia. Today I'm going to talk a little about my view of Ramadan. To me, Ramadan is a time for fasting, praying, remembering Allah, making dua, and also helping people in need. It is a very special time because the Holy Quran was sent down to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for the first time in Ramadan. My favorite parts of Ramadan are the time of Sahur and Iftar, and basically the whole day. Of course, like many children, my most anticipated part of Ramadan is Eid. It is very exciting to look for the moon and and wait for the next day to celebrate Eid, wear new clothes, and of course get gifts. Ramadan Mubarak, everyone.
Yeah,
I
now
love listening to them.
you might remember Seher Kelly. We went to their home last year, I guess, during Eid.
Yep.
And Seher is growing up. So
Yes.
now, can we have Mesut and his family from Canada? And let's see how they celebrate Ramadan in their home in Canada. Mr. Mesut, are you available to join us?
Available. We are available.
Yeah.
Your camera on?
I'm trying to on, but it is not allowing.
Okay, can you turn on your camera now? Yeah.
Okay. So here you are, my daughter, Fatma
Ah,
Dima. We are joining your program from Canada. So she is going to talk about something Ramadan.
Hello, Fatima.
Okay.
How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. How about you?
Good. I guess you broke your fast and you are good to go.
Yeah, it doesn't change for me. I'm hyperactive, so I'm always happy.
Perfect. That's good
Yeah.
to hear.
Okay, so now I have to share about how my Ramadan goes, right?
Yeah. How do you celebrate
Okay.
Ramadan? Your day or your month? Yeah. What's special about Ramadan for you?
Okay, so Ramadan has been a really special part of me since I was a really young kid. Even though I was a kid, I used to fast for like 30 days, and I really enjoyed fasting because it just made me feel closer to God, and it helped me to like it's helped me make my relationship stronger with people around me because they were also fasting and I was also fasting, and we were doing the same thing together. We were doing the same prayer form together. You know, like we were fasting together. So that's why it was fun for me as a kid.
Uh-huh.
I felt like doing something as a group was really important for me. So fasting with my parents, fasting with my relatives, and sharing the same dinner table was really important. It really made me happy, peaceful. And another thing I like about Ramadan is the peace it brings, because during Ramadan you cannot be angry, you cannot be fighting and stuff, you know. So that kind of makes it chill between people. They are more careful. Muslims are more careful. They try to respect others. They try to like kick away the hate from themselves. So Ramadan's just a wholesome, peaceful month for me. That's why I love it a lot.
I know you are an international family. You lived in multiple countries. Were you born in, where were you born?
I was born in Turkey, but the moment I was born, we went out of the country.
So how many different countries you celebrated your Ramadan at? And
Oh,
you remember?
I can count. One by one.
yeah,
You
I
can count.
think in Turkey, in Africa, like Burkina Faso, was I in Senegal? Yeah, I was in Senegal,
Nigeria.
Nigeria, and Pakistan, Canada, Turkey. Different.
Wow, maybe 6, 7
Yeah.
countries.
Yeah.
Was it really different in each place?
It was it different? I mean, the food was different, yes, but the feeling, it was the same. The happiness, it was the same. The excitement, it was definitely the same. People were people were, like chatting, they were eating, they were smiling, because after such a long and busy day, they can finally sit down together and they can eat together. They can enjoy the food together, and it was really nice. They were all laughing.
Which fasting do you miss most?
Which fasting? Okay.
Which country?
Which country? I did say Pakistan.
Yeah, what's your favorite one? Do you any favorite one? Any favorite Ramadan?
It's quite hard to remember, but there was a moment when I was a kid. Like there used to be big Ramadan, what do you call it? Iftars, like
Iftar party.
Yeah, iftar parties. Like all of the Turkish families will come, they will eat together, and we will play together with the kids. There will be a lot of tasty food. My point is on the food.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I think most people miss, that like if you're not a practicing Muslim, just how celebratory and how community oriented Ramadan really is.
Yeah.
I think people outside of that just, there's so many people I think in the world that don't know that or don't get that, and it's one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah. Even though you do not have like a big family or like a lot of relatives, in Turkey there were these tents. They were called Iftar çadırları. They were like Iftar tents.
Yes.
And like people, they do not know each other, but they just come there for Iftar and they will meet new people. They will celebrate it together. They're strangers, but they share something.
Yes.
That's just wholesome.
I also experienced that a couple of times when I was in my college town, Giresun. Was volunteering to serve. Yeah, it was a memorable experience. And you talk about your childhood experience. That reminds me of my childhood. That when I was 10 years old, I fasted for 16 days, but I did like 14 out of the first 18 days. Then I met a guy who just kept buying me chocolates, cookies, whatnot. And then I thought, I'm still 10 years old. I think I'm not required to fast. Because of that guy, I didn't fast the rest of Ramadan mostly. Yeah, thank you so much. Ms. Tabi, do you have anything to add?
No, don't thank you so much. Really, just I would thank you to invite us for your program. You, Kelly, and as a host of church, what was the name of the church? I have forgotten. Thanks to them as well.
Thank you. And I know your wife is sick today, so we are praying for her.
Yes. Thank you so much. Because of fasting, she has some healthy problem, hypoglycemia problem. That's why was not able to participate. Maybe, I'm not sure, for next time, hopefully. But
Sure.
we are grateful to be with you. Thank you so much also for other participants as well, the audience.
Thank you. Thank you so much. For being with us. And now we are gonna invite Muro family. But Mesut abi, are you still there? Just a second. I forgot to show your calligraphy, your family. Kachmas family. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Ayafari. It is great to see that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice
Thank you very
Ramadan.
much.
You as well. You as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, can we have Anisa and Mustafa and Muro family from Tanzania? Yes, Muro family from Tanzania. Woo! They are joining us at 2 a.m., right?
I know, they're probably
2
so
a.m.
sleepy.
And they are still smiling. They are not mad at us, Kelly. See, it's Ramadan effect. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak. Yeah, would you introduce yourself and just share what Ramadan means for you? How do you celebrate Ramadan as a family?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, this is good morning from this side.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning.
We're just finishing our sahur, early breakfast. I think you learned it from the speaker before.
Yes.
I'm here with my family. My name is Mustafa Muro, my wife Anisa, my second born Majida, my third born Daria. The first one is at boarding now. Okay. And then the fourth one, she just finished her sahur. She's too small, too young, so she's gone to sleep.
How old are your daughters? How old are they? And their names?
Okay. Majida is 16 now. 16. Majida is 16. Daria is 14. And the first one, so the daughter, Daima, she's 18. And the last one, she's 11.
Wow.
So you have 4 daughters.
Yeah, 4 daughters. Yeah.
Wow, you're a lucky man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of women, Mustafa.
He's not here.
Yeah. So I can service every time.
Anissa, what is on the table?
Yeah, we have banana soup. We have rice cake. Yeah.
Will you offer some to me? Will you give some to me?
Avocado.
Okay, enjoy.
Can I tell you about banana soup a little bit?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, banana soup is coming from, I'm coming from my native area is Kilimanjaro. You know Kilimanjaro?
I heard of it, yeah.
I've been there.
Oh,
okay,
you've been there, Kelly. Wow.
There we are planting bananas. We are eating bananas, varieties of bananas. From the ripe bananas, green ones. So banana soup is made of green bananas. You peel them, then you boil, then you pound. You mix the meat, you pound, then you put some few vegetables, you eat like a soup.
They're a little bit like when you use the green ones, they're a little bit like potatoes.
Yes, like potatoes, yeah.
If I remember, the Swahili word is ndizi. Yes?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good.
Kelly, Super Kelly knows everything. Oh.
Asante sana.
Oh, very good.
So in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, of course, during Ramadan, it's like every day is a celebration because people meet, get Iftar together. That is a very, very big thing, especially for the kids. Before the pandemic, for example, you find the whole month is full of timetable. If you are not invited, you are inviting people. So
yes,
all the month is full. So that is a scenario like it's the most.
And very interesting here is like it's not like you're inviting all Muslims only. No, you're inviting other Christians and other all friends. See, come together. You enjoy your iftar, and then during the prayers, Muslims will pray, and then they come back together. That's how it is in Tanzania. You know, this it's
Nice.
called a city of Samaritan, good Samaritans. We have this culture of togetherness in this country, especially in the coast area, Dar es Salaam, Zanzibar, Tanga. That's how it is.
Yeah, even some social activity during Ramadan, you find some non-Muslim, they postpone those activities, like it's for Christians. So for those like employers, they arrange iftar dinner for the employee.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's nice. Yeah.
It's very good actually.
You know, that's so nice. Really, interfaith dialogue in action, I guess. You know, I have a chaplain friend, a Muslim woman, who posted on her Facebook that Easter was celebrated just a couple of weeks ago here, well, all around the world, I guess. And she said she wanted to work on that Sunday so that her Christian chaplain friends could celebrate with their church people. So it's very moving to see that, I guess, support and dialogue in action.
Yeah.
So how about the daughters? Do they want to say anything? What Ramadan means for them? What's the favorite Ramadan part?
Okay, Majida.
Like what's your favorite part about Ramadan? Iftar, sahur, or what else?
I think it's everything.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So like if you have like a lot of company, and if, for example, like you're like a lot, like it's important to be together and not many. So like when you are many and you're like fasting together and then you're all like making iftar together and like breaking your fast together. It's exciting to do things together, as a whole. So like when it's Ramadan and then everyone is doing the same thing, it's just fun and exciting, especially when you're at school, the whole rush, you have friends and everything. And it's a nice experience in general, at home with family and food varieties and all the activities of going to and fro. Yeah, it's honestly the whole experience is very interesting and very interesting. Okay. But
I knew you are not shy. You have a lot to share. Thank you.
Okay. There are like different activities we can do. There is, as the keynote speaker said, we have like the voluntary alms that we have to give. So like mostly it's the day before Eid or like after Eid. Like you go and like you feed poor families. Sometimes even during Ramadan you can like give iftar to them. It's just, I love Ramadan in general because it's a very peaceful month, as they say. And I'm honestly a very pro-peace person. I don't like all the activities and the hatred and the drama that is in the world. So I feel like Ramadan is just a time where everything is just a little bit better than normal.
Well, you spoke so profoundly. Maybe our next event, you will be the keynote speaker. How about that?
Yes, you can.
Now she's shy again.
No.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
I don't have much to say. Yeah.
What's your favorite part about Ramadan? How about you? What would you say?
The favorite part about Ramadan is being together. Like, if it was being alone, it wouldn't have been fun as how when people be together. That's all. I don't have much.
That's so true. That's so true. I especially personally experienced that for the Eid. We were celebrating Eid with our friends at the cultural center we have here, Dialogue Institute, having breakfast, then was mainly going back home. That was about 8-9 years ago. And it was so not just boring, but you feel upset because you are not celebrating with others. Then the last maybe 6-7 years, we started visiting people's homes, and also our local American friends started joining us. Then it became a celebration. As you said, it's a time to be together, not just stay home and alone. Yeah. So yeah, you brought up something important. Thank you so much for joining from Tanzania. I know it's not easy to join, to have that much energy at 3 a.m. in your time. Anything else you want to share?
Okay, we just want to inform you that tomorrow you have been invited somewhere.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have this for your family,
Yeah.
Muro family.
Yes.
Whoa, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And I can WhatsApp message you or email you this.
Okay, thank
So I
you.
guess we are coming to the end, Kelly. Can we have our other guests on, Laura, Masood, if they are available, just to say bye to our audience?
Yep, you can leave your camera on, Mustafa.
Yeah.
And
And so the next, I guess I'm going to make the
Just
announcement
join it.
for the next event, right, Kelly?
Yep. So yeah,
So
that's everybody.
yeah, that's everybody. So thank you so much, Laura, Brian, Mesut, Muro family, Kachmas family. It's definitely super Kelly to be with us today. And next event, not tomorrow. We are actually last year I got a message from a friend. Hey, I didn't see your event today. I think he thought we have these events every day. It would be nice. But so tomorrow, no event, no virtual event. But Monday, we are celebrating virtual Ramadan with Habitat for Humanity. Jude Hunt is their representative. Our keynote speaker, Kubra, will join from Virginia, United States. We will have live music, Cindy Novello, videos of kids from which countries? Turkish American and Pakistan this time. And families will join from Costa Rica tomorrow. And what is unique about, sorry, not tomorrow. Monday, Costa Rica. And what's unique about that event, a Muslim family will break their fast with a Christian family from Costa Rica. So we are gonna hear their interfaith Ramadan experience while they are dining together. That's it. Thank you so very much and hope to see you next time.
Ramadan
Thank you, everyone.